Successful governments around the world rely on public funds through taxation to promote development in critical sectors. Sadly, the compliance level in Nigeria is a pitiable 6%, the lowest in Africa. As the President Muhammadu Buhari administration takes a bold step to widen the tax net, the government is introducing the Voluntary Asset and Income Declaration Scheme, Vaids, with a view to stimulating voluntary compliance and increase the revenue base. So, what is Vaids all about?
Well, the Voluntary Asset and Income Declaration Scheme is a very important reform of this administration, the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. We came in, really, one of the three major pillars was to reform the economy. And one of the things that we know that we have to do to reform the economy is to diversify our revenue base, that is, to reduce our reliance on oil. And the way in which that's done, the way in which the non-oil economy contributes to governance is through the tax system. So when we got into office, we began to do some research to understand why our tax compliance was so poor. We have a tax to GDP ratio of 6%, which is one of the lowest in the world. And we needed to understand why. So we began to do quite a lot of work in the Ministry of Finance, understanding where the problem is. And we've come up with really two things which we're trying to address. One is taxpayer education. Do taxpayers understand the system? Does everybody know that everybody who's economically active should pay tax, no matter how little? How do we recreate that? Because if you actually go back into the history of Nigeria, we've always been a tax-paying community, a tax-paying society. We need to recreate that. So there's the education side. And then there's correction of the past, which is allowing a window for those who have evaded taxes, whether willfully or intentionally, to regularize their status, to come out, to declare correctly, and to pay and regularize any outstanding taxes.
Very simple. All we're looking at is that we're not saying because you have not paid taxes in the last 20 years that you should pay everything. We said, let's open up a window and look at your income in the last 6 years, or look at the assets you have and the income you have generated. Either you own property and you have rented out these properties to individuals who have paid you rent for your properties, and you will have the opportunity to do what we call a self-assessment. So you tabulate all the income you've earned over the last 6 years, and then we'll apply a tax table to show you how much tax you have to pay.
Vaids. I declare my duty, my nation.